A while back, somebody asked through one of the comments about my life, about how I got involved. If you read my MySpace page, it lays basically everything out I'm going to say, but I'm just going to kind of give you a brief synopsis. When I was 18, I moved to Los Angeles and I wound up getting a job with a guy who was in the lifestyle. He was a slave to a mistress, and she was somebody who had a lot of people. She basically ran a family, and everybody was a slave to her. And so she had a lot of different people in her life, and her and I spent a good couple weeks talking. And I told her I saw what was going on. I said, this is what I want. This is where I want to be. And she said, okay, if that's what you want, then you're going to start here. Most people don't start their lives, especially today, the internet, because you got to keep in mind this was just prior to the internet. This was about 14, almost 15 years ago. You started your life knowing somebody. Almost nobody just walked in one day and said, "Hey, I'm a master." Didn't work that way. You trained. Either you worked under somebody as an apprentice, or you started off as a slave and worked your way up to being a dominant and a master. And I do definitely separate those two. And I'll do another video on those later down the road. The thing is that when she brought me in, she basically made it very clear, if you're going to do this, you have to be committed. And I knew after talking to her and talking to a couple of her others and what I was walking into, and I knew it would be tough. Absolutely knew it. So for almost 2 years, I was owned by her. I did everything that you can imagine, and some stuff you can't even imagine. And she was harder on me than she was any of our other people. She simply wanted to see if I had the stamina and the guts to stick up to it, to do things that, she would never do to anybody else. She pushed me harder than everybody else because she wanted me to either A, stick with it and realize what was going on and not do that to my slaves, or walk away and never go back and be part of this life. Needless to say, I wound up staying for the full 2 years. The next 2 years I trained. First year trains exclusively as a dominant. What that means is I spent the time learning toys. I learned how to play with somebody, how to run a scene, how to organize a scene, how to structure scenes, how to be dominant in the bedroom, I was already dominant, but there was a structure and a way of doing things. That's the first year. Second year was exclusively on how to be a master. Now, it's like, well, the dominance and master is the same thing? Absolutely not. A master is you own the person outright. You own them. You own their body. You own them. You control them. Dominant, not necessarily. Now, there's a lot of interchange, and I'll have people debate me on, this word and this, that word. I mean, to some girls I'm a dom, to some girls I'm a master, to some girls I'm a daddy. And that's another little fun kettle of fish. But I spent that last year with her learning how to be an owner, to own somebody, how to deal with them, how to control them, how to push them and prod them and do the things that needed to be done for them to be able to do it. At the end of that time, she bestowed me with the title of master. Now, I earned that title. I used that title, and I very much, my name is Master Michael L. Hook. That is my full name. To me, it's not Mr. Hook. It's Master Hook. I earned the title. This is a lifestyle that when you get involved, you need to take real. This is about everything about it. Since that point of walking away from her, everything that I've learned, I've used on a daily basis. My core set of rules, those weren't the set that she gave me, but I took what she said and interpreted it to what I needed out of my girls, my core set of rules. One of the things she asked me to do that I still do to today, some 14 plus years later, is she asked me to paint my left big toenail black. I still paint it black. You know, people are like, well, you've been away from her for a long time. I haven't talked to her in 8 years. But I still paint it black in her honor. She never told me to stop. It's a little gesture I can do as a way to remind me of where I came from. It's a way that I can remind myself I came from this point and I'm here. This is something that people have a tendency to take as it's all sexual and it's all about all of these other things. To me, it's not. It's about the lifelong experience of learning and growing. I learn and grow every day. I learn something new every day. Every girl who comes into my life, it's a new experience. To me, my life is something I don't expect everybody else to follow, especially today. But I do wish people would actually take one thing from it, and which is educate yourself on this lifestyle. Learn. Take the time. Find somebody who can train you. Find somebody who can mentor you or guide you. Learn it. Don't just do it. There's a wealth of knowledge out there. You know, myself and hundreds of other super experienced dominants who are more than happy to sit and talk and give you all the knowledge you need. So, that's what I have about that. Be well and safe.